Moto news from around the world in 10 minutes or less. To start off, I'm actually super pumped about the new KTMs. Not really the aesthetic, because the aesthetic to me, I don't know. I can't even digress. It just looks ugly in my opinion. However, they have this new connectivity off-road unit that I want to share a little bit of details about, because you connect a GPS to it. I wonder if this is going to be somewhat like the Ducati, where you've got the Get ignition on the front of the front fender, but it's an aftermarket part.
The CEO is very easy to assemble. You clip the unit itself between the right fork and the upper triple clamp. Make sure it is fixed well into place. Then attach the GPS sensor onto the front fender. Now you will be looking full factory.
That reminds me a lot of what Lit Pro has for what you can put on the rear fender or the front fender. It's cool that they're utilizing more space on the bike, and it's light enough because it's not going to just get all over the place, because there's a lot of vibration on that front fender. If you put a GoPro there, it just doesn't work.
As easy as can be to fit. You theoretically even don't need a mechanic. Even I could do it. Our CEO is fitted now, so we're ready to turn it on and then connect with the KTM Connect app, and we're ready to set up our bike. Our device is now paired with the KTM Connect app, but what does that actually allow us to do with our bike? First of all, who doesn't want to take a whole shot? We can adjust launch control, but as well throttle response, also traction control, and furthermore even quick shifting and engine braking. Engine's ready now, but what about suspension? Setup of front fork and the shock. The KTM Connect app also gives you plenty of information on that setup, because one of the most crucial things I see people struggling with at the track is basically suspension in general. With the KTM Connect app, this is a thing of the past.
Which that is nuts. It's a start to almost dial it in like it's a video game. However, you're still going to have to manually adjust the bike, so you're going to have to hit clickers and loosen the shock, etc. But that's pretty cool that it takes away some of the guesswork.
With Lit Pro, we can analyze really every detail.
Oh, there it goes for Lit Pro. Cool.
Let's check in the app which features we have. For instance, there is the speed, but also acceleration, deceleration, your average speed, the G-force, even your jump height, your gear position, which RPM you're in, your throttle position, the traction control you can see, and even in which map you are. Plenty of things to make you really fast.
Which is really sweet. I love the integration of the new technology to the old school just combustion motors, because we know how I feel about electric bikes and how I think it's at least going to be a new class in the future. I won't take too much on that because it is a harsh subject, because I still believe that the sport is very resistant to change, and this is forcing change. I love how this rider is using his middle finger. Just notice that one finger or middle finger, there's the analysis in me saying, hey, he's got good technique, good technique. We have to give it up to AC for retiring. He's had a lot of injuries. He's one of those riders where I feel like he's Trey Canard. He should have had some 450 championships under his resume, but unfortunately, just bad luck got the better of him. And this is the only rider that I really know that has spent his entire career on green. I really would like to see this rider be an ambassador for the sport in some capacity. Truthfully, the best job that this guy could do would be being in the booth at a Supercross race or on the floor with JT, announcing. He knows his shit, and I want to see him progress in the sport in a different capacity. Then we have Malcolm Stewart, advertising for his father, Big James, opening up their facility to a few lucky riders. I wonder what the cost is going to be, but he's going to start training. Why not? You've got all this stuff. There's the Sandbox, there's Rhino's facilities, there's Club MX, there's Millsaps, there's Carmichael's, which is pretty much now owned by Star. So there's a lot of facilities out there, and he's got all the equipment. So why not? The dude knows his stuff. He helped both of the Stewart brothers become very successful in the sport. Why not monetize it? Because it's there. So if you want more information, I'm sure you can look up at info@stewartcompound.com. In other news that broke the internet was Blake Baggett returning from a 1,300-day hiatus where he called up Factory Husky and they gave him a production level bike to go play around on. Yes. Is this inferring that maybe he's getting back into it? Absolutely. Would it be awesome to see him back at the Nationals or some of the Supercross? 100 freaking %. Does he still have the speed? Look, he looks like he's in shape. He's another rider like AC that just didn't get to share his full potential. So I would love to see this rider get back, but it's just a teaser. It really has no merit to it that, hey, he's just riding. You know, he took a long break and he's getting back to his roots, so it's good to see. Blake Baggett was one of my favorite riders for sure. In MXGP, we have Hurlings finally getting on the podium here, but yet he could not beat Jorge Prado, which a lot of people are now talking about. Prado versus Jet, fastest motocross rider on the planet at the moment. I said in some of my analysis videos that the only thing harder than getting a competitive advantage is keeping that advantage. And unfortunately for Hurlings, because of his injuries, he has lost it. Same thing happened with James Stewart when he took a couple years off to do Bubba's World. Is a rider came up and it was Dungey, and from there on it was very hard for Stewart to come back after he was basically just owning everybody and it looked easy. I'm sure the program was on point and it wasn't easy. However, outside looking in, he made it look easy. Same thing with Hurlings, but no more. The 250 class is probably the most exciting class to watch between the Husky guys going back and forth. Kai Wolf ended up with the win there. You have the reigning champion, Adamo. He ended up getting penalized and disqualified for jumping off the track and accelerating through pit lane. Rules are rules. That's just kind of how it is. The FIM seems to be a little bit less lenient than the AMA. And you have Triumph with another podium with Camden McClellan taking advantage of that DQ and getting that bike on the podium. The first round of the FIM Enduro GP championship that got underway in Portugal. This stuff just looks gnarly. It's a little bit faster of a pace where you've got some tests to it. And the rider that ended up on top on Saturday was Joseph Garcia with 56 minutes, and then Steve Holcomb at 53 minutes on Sunday. Their next race is in a week. For Supercross, we've got stuff heating up with Eli Tomac coming off a win. We are just running out. We are on the downhill side. We are 3/4 of the way done. Can he continue to cut down the points lead? Because Jet Lawrence has over a whole race advantage almost on the entire field. Cooper Webb is pretty close, but other than that, from first to third, there's a full race there. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Is Tomac able to get by Jet, or do we need to see another incident where something happens with bad luck? Yes, nobody wants to win that way, but that's how Sexton won over Tomac last year. We had some other news with Austin Forkner getting some LASIK surgery, and in his comments, you know, he was dabbling in what social media is great for, saying stuff as if, hey, I was able to beat these guys with 50% less strength in my left arm, and my knee was effed up, and I was basically blind. And he goes on to just kind of talk about how he beat the best riders, the fastest guy in the class, passing him on the outside twice. I'm assuming he's talking to Deegan. So it's cool to see some of that banter going on with Austin Forkner. Come on, let's get his ego stroked so that he could come back, and we want to see some good racing and a little bit of drama filled. I'm 1000% for it. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and notification icon for more news and analysis like this. And until next time, keep it WFO. Ba-ra-da-da-da-da-da.